Imagine this scenario. You have traveled for hours, climbed a steep peak or found the perfect urban vantage point for the shot that will take your video to the next level. You power up the drone, everything looks perfect, calibration is green, you have a solid GPS lock with 18 plus satellites, and you take off with total confidence. Suddenly, 30 seconds in, the screen fills with static. The video feed freezes, the message GPS lost flashes in a violent red, and your drone, this expensive piece of engineering that you pay with your own money, starts drifting with the wind like a helpless dry leaf. The sticks aren't responding correctly, and return to home is useless because the drone has forgotten where the Earth is. In that heartbeat, your drone transforms from a technological marvel into a $1,000 paperweight in the middle of a digital hurricane. You didn't see anything, you didn't hear anything, but you just hit an invisible wall. Today, we are talking about electronic intelligence, or ELINT. We are going to learn how to read the spectrum of the airwaves before you even touch the gimbals. Because let's be honest, have you ever wondered if the blue sky you see is truly empty, or if it's actually crisscrossed with invisible digital barbed wire? In this day and age, flying without knowing your radio frequencies environment is like driving down a highway with your eyes shut. In the near future, free skies will be the exception, not the rule. Radio frequencies are like a conversation at a party. Normally, your drone and your remote controller are chatting quietly in a corner, exchanging data about battery life, altitude, video feed, etc., etc. But this part is becoming increasingly hostile. Electronic countermeasures, ECM technology, once the exclusive playground of superpowers and intelligence agencies, is now everywhere. Following recent conflicts in Ukraine, the Middle East and elsewhere, we have seen how electronic warfare can neutralize even thousands of drones in a single day. And this technology is leaking into the civilian world, for better or for worse. To survive, you must understand the difference between the two primary threats. Jamming is brute force. Imagine someone walking into that party with a massive megaphone screaming white noise. They aren't trying to say anything smart. They just want to make sure that no one else can be heard. Your drone goes deaf, loses contact with the controller, or the weak GPS frequency gets drowned out. Spoofing, however, is far more sinister. I have made a video about it. Go and check it. It is a convincing lie. It's a digital con artist whispering in your drone's ear, guess what? You aren't where you think you are. You are actually 10 miles away, right in the middle of that island. The drone, believing the lie, triggers its no-fly zone protocol or this or that, performs an emergency landing or flies away to safety, effectively leading itself to its own destruction. Here's the hard truth. While jamming is strictly illegal for civilians, the equipment is now cheap and accessible on the black market. How sure are you that the owner of a luxury villa or the security head of a critical infrastructure site hasn't installed an illegal jammer? Your drone is at risk from anyone with a $50 SDR, software-defined radio, and an amplifier, even if you are the most law-abiding pilot in the world. All you wanted to do is, get that beautiful sunset. That's all. Now, you cannot defeat an enemy that you can't see. To survive in this new saturated environment, you need the right eyes. This right here is the TinySA. Think of it as X-ray goggles for the airwaves. It's a handheld spectrum analyzer no bigger than a credit card, mostly, that allow us to see exactly what's happening in the 2.4 GHz and 5.8 GHz bands, the frequencies where our communication lives. When you turn on the TinySA in a clean rural environment, you'll see the noise floor sitting very low. You will notice a few sharp peaks popping in and out. That's just a nearby Wi-Fi router or your phone's Bluetooth or something like that. It's the normal heartbeat of modern life. But if you power it up and see a steady massive blanket of noise covering the entire screen like a digital wall, you have a serious problem. That is a digital fog machine. Someone is intentionally emitting energy to blind everything inside. Now, ask yourself, if your signal dropped right now, could you tell if it was the distance, a physical obstacle, or if someone was intentionally blinding you? Without a spectrum analyzer, you're just guessing. Knowledge of the spectrum is your only defense. Now, whether it's a government interference or a private citizen playing illegally with frequencies, the result for your drone is the same. Total loss of control and, sequence things you cannot see how will play out. A safe flight doesn't start in the field. It starts at your desk. Before I even put my batteries on the charger, if I'm about to go to a flight, I check the digital weather using open source intelligence tools. The most critical website for any drone pilot today is gpsjam.org. This platform aggregates data from thousands of commercial aircraft. These planes report when their GPS systems experiencing low accuracy or total signal loss. Over the last few years, if you open this map, you will see massive red zones over the Eastern Mediterranean, Baltic, and parts of Eastern Europe. These zones aren't random glitches. They are areas where satellite signals are being systematically attacked by military-grade jamming weapons. Have you ever considered how vulnerable GPS really is? We base our lives, ship navigation, expensive gear, economy on a signal traveling from space. By the time it reaches Earth, its power is weaker than the light of a bulb seen from miles away. It can be drowned by a pocket transmitter that costs $20 to $30. If the map on GPS Jam is red in your area, your drone will be flying in a hall of mirrors. It might think it's flying at 60 miles per hour while it's stationary, or it might set its home point in the middle of the ocean. Furthermore, skies are becoming highly regulated. Geofencing will be getting more aggressive in the next years. Soon, entire regions will be digitally erased with a flip of a switch by the authorities, and your drone will refuse to even spin its motors. Now, let's assume you check the maps, you arrived at the location, but you left your spectrum analyzer at home, or that you don't have one. Don't panic. Your drone itself can become the canary in a coal mine. The bird that warns the miners of toxic gas before it's too late. Before taking off, while the drone is still on the ground, perform two basic checks that most people ignore. Satellite count. If you are in an open field with no trees, tall buildings or mountains blocking you, and your drone struggles for 3 or 4 minutes to lock into 6 or 7 satellites, maybe you should consider not taking off. Something is suppressing the signal in the area. In normal conditions, with a clear horizon, you should have 15 to 25 satellites in under a minute. If the count is low, someone is crossing the signal. Channel graph. Go into your settings and find the transmission tab. There you will see a frequency graph. If you see all channels full and the graph is hitting the red, it's like trying to whisper in the front row of a heavy metal concert. Your connection will break within the first 150 feet. Now, one question you have to answer for yourself. Is the freedom we feel when we fly just a temporary concession? With the universal rollout of remote ID, anonymity is over. Your drone is broadcasting your identity, your altitude, and the pilot's location in real time. Flying without checking the RF environment isn't just a risk anymore, it's irresponsible. In closing, we have to accept a new, harsh reality. The future of drones is no longer free. It is digitally controlled, full of invisible fences and electronic traps. Jamming is a loud, senseless scream. Spoofing is a very convincing lie. Remote ID is your permanent digital license plate. Ultimately, we have to ask ourselves, are we real pilots or just app users who are allowed to fly only as long as others permit it? Your only true safety isn't automated systems, it's your skills. Learn to fly in ATI mode, that means flying without GPS assistance. Learn to control your drone manually, relying only on the video feed and your feel for the sticks. This is your manual steering wheel for the moment technology betrays you, whether that's due to government interference or a grumpy neighbor with an illegal jammer on the roof. Stay smart, start the spectrum before every flight, and respect the rules. But always be ready for the systems to fail. Have you ever felt your drone go crazy for no obvious reason? Have you lost signal at 100 feet despite having a clear line of sight? Tell me about your experiences in the comments in this field. Collecting information is our only defense. Stay safe, protect your gear, and I will see you in the next sky. Hopefully, a clear one.